Hello everyone, welcome to Snap Take. We're gonna go quickly today. It's late at night, I got work in the morning, but I decided to hit infinite, and so I did. I'm officially infinite, I'm in the top 200 right now. At the very end of this video, for anyone who's curious, we're gonna look at that deck. If you just want the guide to it, we'll do the full guide to that deck tomorrow. I had like a 75% win rate. I'll tell you all about what I played. But today we have three great decks. All three of these are day one infinite decks. We've got a Gilgamesh deck, we've got a Thena deck, and then we've got one more that has neither. Let's get started, but first we have to tell you we're giving away like so many more than 5 season passes. We're giving away like I think 12 or 13 season passes this season. We've already given away 5. Check the second video on Tuesday if you're curious if you won one of those, but all you have to do is comment on the video and be subscribed. I will tell you when in this video there will be a question. You answer that question. As long as you're subbed, you are entered in the giveaway. So good luck. I hope you win a free season pass for those of you who are still looking. Also, if you'd like some gameplay for this video, check out ZalSnap tonight at 6 p.m. Eastern. Zal will have games from this deck. If you want yesterday's decks, check out GamingwithFlashX, who should have a YouTube video out relatively soon with gameplay from those. Tuccr's actually going to miss Friday, so fair warning, and who's looking forward to Tuck's Friday stream, much love to the Pirate King, he's going to miss one. Alright, so the first deck we're going to talk about today is the Slayer of War. And anytime you see Slayer, you should at this point be going, oh, it's a safety deck. Yep, this is a safety deck. Safety is the originator of the Ravona, Professor X, Cannonball, Sage decks that you've been seeing everywhere. Well, he sort of got rid of the Professor X Cannonball and said, if I'm small, that none of that matters, right? You can't get a productive Professor X off on this type of deck between Ms. Marvel, Thena, Angela, etc. Jeff and Nocturne, it's really hard to get a productive Professor X out. I played this deck for like 8 games on my way to Infinite. I had like a 75% win rate. It is a very powerful deck. This is a force to be reckoned with as long as the Cannonball Professor X meta is present. It's a little awkward to play because you have 5 2s and you have to be careful with them for Ms. Marvel, but as long as you are careful, you should be totally fine. So you can find Safety at twitch.tv/safetyblade. Safety was top 10 last season. He hit number 1 already with this deck this season. Unfortunately, most cards here are needed. Sage can be Wolfsbane, Nocturne can be Wolfsbane, Red Guardian, Rogue, Gladiator, any good 3. The other cards are unfortunately needed. Kitty is unbelievable. Thena is, well, I'm not going to give you my Thena take. Later on this video, we've got like 7 or 8 top players with their Thena takes. You can try something for Ms. Marvel, but Ms. Marvel is what makes this such a good matchup into Professor X. Hope is necessary extra energy because you need to be doing extra things to be making sure you play those cards. And Nocturne is the second move. You can do without Nocturne, but it's so important to fight Professor X because that's ultimately what the meta is right now, at least in my personal opinion. The meta right now is sort of Professor X Cannonball decks and Hela decks. And you can beat Hela, you just go real big and real powerful, and Shang is really helpful, but the other decks need a little bit of doing. Alright, turn by turn. Turn 1, Kitty. Turn 2, Ravona is better than Ansel or Athena, is better than Jeff. Remember, if you can play any of these mid, you are happier to do so. Turn 3, a 2/1 if you already have Athena out. If not, you drop Hope, and Hope is better than Nocturne. Turn 4, Nocturne or Luke +1, or just 2 2s. You want to try and again be triggering Thena if you've got Thena. 3/2, and then turn 6, you're using Ms. Marvel or a Shang plus a 2 or 3, depending on if you got Hope out. It's great. So also, just one more thing worth noting. Sometimes when you Ms. Marvel or Shang and you have 7 energy, you'll play like Ms. Marvel or Shang plus Shadow King plus Kitty, and you just forego the extra Thena. It's not a big deal when you have to do that. This again hit number 1. This deck is sick. I think that this is a phenomenal deck and one well worth trying out if you have access to the cards. Thena is real good. Please hit that sub button. We bring you more Marvel Snap content than anyone. We did a couple 2-a-days this week. We did 2 videos Tuesday, 2 videos Wednesday. We do a video every single day here on the channel. Don't miss out. Make sure you hit that sub button. And once you're subbed, like and comment and watch as long as you can. It really does help us grow. Thank you so much for your support. And we promise to continue bringing you more decks than anyone and doing more giveaways than anyone. All right, our next deck is the Great Black Dama. Black Dama just casually dropped his infinite deck, and I was like, oh, this is fun. This is just a really fun deck. This one is, again, really good against Professor X and pretty good against Hela, although with Hela, you're doing a little guesswork. Your Hela win is Alliath. Got it? In order to beat Hela, you really, really, really want to Alliath. But if you can get that Storm out, Alliath thing is way easier because it gets fairly obvious where they're going to play. Professor X is obviously fairly well answered by War Machine. If they can't win that Professor X lane, like the trick of Cannonball is they've already locked up a lane that they can just guarantee a win, and then they Cannonball elsewhere, and then you just lose. Well, if they can't do that because you War Machined on 4 or 5, well, things change, right? The rest of this deck is a Storm Trick deck. You're basically just trying to win Storm lane and then use Alliath or Shang or Doom to win. But huge caveat, you can also do the Storm Quake War Machine Galactus trick, which is where you storm a lane, then you quake into and make the flooded lane some empty lane, some lane that they don't really want to compete in. Then you drop War Machine, and then you can just Galactus that now empties flooded lane, and they can't do anything about it. All right, so you can find Black Dama at twitter.com/BlackDama. Zabu for this deck can just be Psylocke, and in fact, I'm pretty sure Psylocke is just right. Nebula can be White Widow, Lizard, or Nightcrawler. Nebula has the benefit of forcing your opponent to play in a location, which is kind of what you want to do here. So do White Widow, Lizard, and Nightcrawler helps you fake people out. The other cards are needed, in particular, Alliath is how you beat Hela decks. Galactus is the trick with War Machine, so you need both of those. And then Jeff is incredible because you've got a million Professor X's everywhere. And then Iron Lad gives you an extra of whatever you need, as if you can keep track of what's in the deck. So turn 1, you Nebula Blind. Turn 2, you Jeff or Zabu. And you only really Zabu, and you'd rather Jeff if you're going to try an Iron Lad next. I think Psylocke may be better because sometimes you don't have a card to play on 3, and if you play Psylocke on 3, that lets you jump out of vision. So if you get that Storm or Lad on turn 3, and hopefully that Lad is hitting the Storm, you can then go into the Quake combo, or you can just drop Lad thereafter. And if you hit double Doom, you're in really great shape, right? Then turn 5, War Machine or Vision, and turn 6, Galactus or Alliath and Doom. And then you win. This deck is really good. It's really, it farms people who don't know what you're doing, and it farms bots. So get in on this early. It's very powerful. All right, we got the best player impressions for Gilgamesh. So Miley C says Miley C is a top Asian region player. So, okay, Zoo was one step below tier 1, and this makes Zoo better, but it's still one step below tier 1, which makes sense to me, especially because Gilgamesh is Cannonball food. Batman says it isn't worth playing. Batman 89 is another top 10 player. Tanjo says it seems good, but it's niche, which makes sense. It goes in basically Zoo and Patriot decks only. Butt says decent, not great. Lambie says mid outside of blue Marvel decks, and even then kind of meh. Are we noticing a pattern? W says big, boring, idiot, middle of the road. Olwyn says boring 5-drop. I don't like this kind of card. I guess I should go through who all these people are, right? Because a lot of you won't know. Sizer says meh, but a serious threat in Zoo. And Aoi says fun, but not very good. All right, so Tanjo was the number 1 on the Infinite leaderboard last season. Phenomenal player. But has been in the top 5, I believe, 2 seasons ago. Phenomenal player. You should probably know who Lambie Series is. He's the GOAT. W is the best deck builder ever. FAK Mulwin is part of the dominant FAK team and won the latest Lambie Open. Sizer has finished first in previous seasons, was 3rd last season, and Aoi is a French content creator who's constantly in the top 5. Cool. So all of these people are like, maybe in Zoo, but probably not. I'm going to try and remember to check back with these people at the end of the month to see if maybe we've come up with something. But as of right now, like, if you buy Gilgamesh, you're buying it so you get a Series 5 card out of the pool, which is, like, always worth it. And because, like, if you get a random mystery Series 5 and it's Gilgamesh, you're just going to be frustrated. And to get the extra resources, because remember, for you get like 10 times the amount of a normal gold bundle, a normal $10 bundle if you buy the season pass. So that's why you're buying it at this point. Gilgamesh is a fun card, and if you want to have fun with it, have fun if you like Patriot decks, but it's not very good. We're going to look at a Gilgamesh deck last. It's actually Aoi's fun, but not very good. Last we have Thena. Same people are talking about this, so I'm not going to tell you who they are again. Miley says Thena fits well. well with Ravona and works well in existing strategies. A bunch of people are going to say this. Those strategies are Angela, Kitty, and Professor X decks. Cool. Batman 99, extremely powerful for Kitty decks. Basically, a second Angela, says Tanjo. Busted in Professor X Cannonball deck specifically. Lambie says it's OP as expected. W says it's better than I thought, but overrated by the community and clunky. That's the only negative thing anyone's going to say. Mullen says an engine with Angela, easy to play on tech. And Sizer says strong and fun as expected. I don't know yet. I try not to like make decisions until I've looked at the data. I get opinions. I get the subjective opinions of top players first before I look at data. But every bit of Thena seems to me like this is going to be a must-have card. She's basically always a 2/7 and fairly often a 2/10, and that's just really hard to do. All right, Owie Gilgamesh Zoo. This is the deck Owie played. I actually like this a lot. I had a really good time with it. I took it into some conquest, but yeah, I think this is really fun and very powerful. And it's the opponent will have a hard time playing around a lot of things. Why Claw? You'll never guess what card we've been talking about all video. Claw beats Professor X 90% of the time, and if you can beat it with Claw, then you can win other lanes because you go so wide with this list. Nice and simple. So you can find Owie at youtube.com/Owie Marvel Snap. French speaker, but phenomenal player, really kind person. Check him out. Neb can be Hawkeye here. You don't actually lose that much for that. Kara can just be armor. Nico is harder to replace. I would just generally go with Jeff or Angela, but you could also just add like an Iceman and be fine. And Gilgamesh is what the deck is sort of built for, so you can cut it, but like then just play a different deck. Basically, what you're doing is you're saying, I can go wide, you can't compete in all the lanes, and if I can figure out what lane you're going to compete in, Gilgamesh is so big that you just win that damn lane. Cool. All right, so turn 1 Nebula over any of the other ones, and you save Squirrel Girl usually until the end, because please note, wrong way. Please note, there are no 6s in this deck, so that means you can play a 1 to end the game. I really, really like that 1 to be Squirrel Girl where possible. It could also be Ant-Man, but I want it to be Squirrel Girl where possible, because the opponent doesn't expect me to fill all the locations usually. Turn 2 is more 1s. Turn 3, read the board. Shauna or Kara is fine. Do you think that they're going to have Killmonger? Are there locations that mean unique here? Drop that. If not, you're perfectly fine dropping Shauna. And with Shauna, like the one change I would make to this deck, and I know exactly what I want it to be. I want it to be Claw, is I really want Mockingbird in this list, but what are you going to do? Turn 4, Khazar or 3+1. Turn 5, Blue Marvel or Claw. Turn 6, Gilgamesh and Squirrel Girl. And then, like, Quake is here just because Quake gives you scams. Oh, no, that location is really hard to get into. You'd get some of your, like, floaty ones in there with like your Nightcrawlers, your Shaunas, your Swirl Girl, and then you make that a different location that you can also still access the same way. See what I mean? A lot of power to this list. Very cool list. It gets into locations. It handles things well. It's so much more powerful than it looks for what is honestly a fairly affordable list. Also, look at the sheer number of hips in this one. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 hips. Not bad. Makes me happy. All right, question of the day time. Oh, wait, I wanted to go back. So, do you think that, like, what I want to ask is, Gilgamesh is a giant stat stick. Giant stat sticks end up really good always. Do we think Gilgamesh is going to be a meta or near meta card when Professor X Cannonball gets nerfed? Because sooner or later, Professor X Cannonball is getting nerfed. Do we think it's going to be a meta card when Professor X Cannonball gets nerfed? Or is it just worse / more expensive Sage? Let me know in the comments. That's how you win a season pass. All right, questions of the day. We're going to start. Models asks what a boomer snap is and why it's bad. Models. A boomer snap is snapping at the end of turn 5 going into turn 6. The reason it's bad, okay, I'll explain why it's called a boomer snap after. But the reason it's bad is fundamentally your opponent should be able to read that if you're doing that, you have an answer to what they have and just leave for less cubes. You should stay where it is, and if you win, you get double the cubes. That last turn snap, people should almost always leave, and honestly very often do. Also, as I've become more successful, extremely frustrating and climbing to infinite by the frickin' by. Extremely flying yeah, I could speak, I swear, friends. I swear I know how to speak. Is that, like, I feel like people know me, and then I snap on people early. I, like, drop a Quinjet or something and snap, and people are just running. I'm like, come on. Very annoying. All right. So it's bad because it limits your cubes, and it's called a boomer snap because, okay, boomers, are late and make bad decisions. That's why it's called a boomer snap. Not what I'm saying boomers are. Some boomers are, some boomers aren't. All right, two ties wants to know my first memory of happiness. I remember being in a supermarket with my mom and her friend and this little girl I was friends with. I don't remember much about there, but I remember we were in the supermarket and they were buying us candy and I was really happy. Pretty sure that's my first memory of happiness, but I could easily be wrong. At some point, your memories become memories of memories, right? So, did you hit infinite yet? Yes, I'm asking myself because I want to go to bed and I hit infinite and I'm happy. It made me proud of myself. So I'm going to share the deck. Funny, I asked, this is the deck I hit infinite with. This is Tanjo's Noki. I basically took the Tanjo Noki deck from last season and I said, I don't need Snowguard because I have Nocturne. I do want Thena. Thena is wildly powerful in this deck. This is fantastic. I really love this list. I won games on Doom. I won like from Valentina. I won games like big games on getting a oh my god, what's it called? Man Thing out of Agent Coulson and dropping that on the negative on the ongoing location. Onslaught Citadel. Like this deck is just a freaking blast. Just a blast. You haven't answered almost everything. It should probably run Shang-Chi. Safety's probably right, but it's I could hit infinite without that. I had a 74% win rate. We'll run through this deck in more detail tomorrow. I just wanted to share for those of you who are cool and watch the whole video. No, I appreciate you. I also appreciate the $10 Patreons. So if you would like to be one, check out patreon.com/snapjudgments. I'm going to do a Patreon exclusive video. Maybe not tomorrow because tomorrow is podcast plus video day, which is always a very busy day, but relatively soon, maybe either tomorrow or Friday, going over all the decks I finished last season with, my last look at my stats from last season, and then all the decks that I used to hit infinite this season, how they did, what I learned, and what I think about them. So if you're interested in that, that'll be $5 and $10 Patreon. If you want your name in the video, check out the $10 Patrons. The $10 Patrons also get an exclusive weekly video where I do the top 10 decks from all of these videos at the end of the week once I've got some hindsight. All right, so I'd like to say thank you to, and we're going fast because I gotta get to bed. It's really late. Abigail Heaslin, Mandatory Burnout, Cables, Andy Lehman, David G. Wingfield, Direwolf, LAB, FaThorNewman, Good Dog Gamer, This Is the Way, all the way from Scotland, Inc., Jane Avery, Jane Vitalino, King of Questions, Kertixley, Koi Ray, all the way from Japan, Pyrofros and the Goat Seeker, hello friends, Denman Falcon, Fat Nick, Doku, Ginger Prime, Philip Rakovich, hey Racco, Kenny Loggins of the Danger Zone, Haplo, almost forgot your Haplo, Rob Silverman, one of the OGs, the Notorious Bizza, Express V and Skippy G are rhyming friends, Snapchat League 1 champion, Tommy Nyquist, the King of Bros, Black Dahlia, the Great Kazoo, Jessica Gamble, hi Jess, Ryan Wood, hey Ryan, Kev C. Hoda, let me know how that climb's going, my friend, Luna Chris, hi Luna, my former student, Lou Antonez, Mod Supreme, who asked a question, who we love very much, models, the one and only Darth Tater, Remes Etala, Brian Kaufman, Tristan H. Martin, the Fuzzy Dunlop of The Wire fame, Spectrum X Hoot, Matt H., DJ Mikey Hijinks, No Frickin' Flex, Ocularis, hey Craig, Sterry, Pretty Damn Chill, Seamus, are you still caught up, Seamus? Did you fall behind yet? Jonesy, Two Ties, whose deck got me to infinite last season, the Pirate King, Tuccrr, hope you're doing well, King, the Homie Min, and of course, Gunny T, where the T stands for I'm tired. I'll see y'all tomorrow, friends. I gotta post this thing and get to bed. Peace.